I don't have anything, but doggone. Doggone. Good morning. So, what am I going to do this morning? I'm going to make a spice cake in a jar. Now, and my little helper is wanting something, so let's see if he'll take a treat this morning. So, all Mommy has. Good. There you go, good boy. Good boy. Doggone. That's all Mommy's got. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. So let me wash my hands and get started here. I wanted to bake a cake this morning and I was out of spice cake mix. So I thought I would bring you along while I mix up a few spice cake mixes. So I'm going to turn you around here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm going to mix up 3 this morning. I'm going to be using 1. So that'll give me 2 for my pantry and 1 for me this morning. So I need 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour in each jar, and that's the first thing I want to start off with. And I'm just going to make sure that it's level. No, I don't have anything, bud. It's all going. It's all going, honey. I don't have anything. 1 1/4. And I'm just going to get all of that in the jars. Do them all at one time. And this is just all-purpose flour. 1 1/4 in each jar. Good morning. And we'll do my third one. Again, 1 1/4 cup in each. 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour in each jar. Bobby, Mommy don't have anything. It's all going. It's all going. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move that back. And then I'm just going to pack this down a little bit in each jar. Hey, no, I don't have anything, buddy. Do you want a walnut? Here. Oh my God, it's all going. We're trying to break into his bad kitchen habits of a morning when I come in to start. No, all going. Here, right here. Treat. Look, treat. No. It's so hard for me to be strict. And I want to try and get these as level as I can, especially if I was giving them away for a gift. So just want to try and get them level. Where are you from? I am from Ohio. Okay, so now I've got my 3 jars, and I've just tried to pack them down to where they're pretty level. And that's 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour in each jar. So the next thing I'm going to add is 1 cup of brown sugar. To each jar. I just thought it would be a good morning for a spice cake. It's raining out this morning and it's dreary. So I thought it would be a nice morning to start a spice cake. And I went in and I didn't have any mix. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and mix some up. So I need 1 cup of brown sugar in each jar. Good morning. How are you this morning? Now I'm going to kind of pack my brown sugar down just to make it pretty. Especially if I was giving these for a gift. You can see how pretty that looks. My little one has just been, he's learning. He'll be 8 months old tomorrow. And he's been being a little aggressive in the kitchen when I come in the kitchen. So we're trying to break that habit while he's still young. So you may hear him protesting a little bit. I did give him a treat. He has that, so. Okay, and I'm just going to add 1 cup of brown sugar to each jar. And then just kind of pack it down a little bit. So you can see how pretty that looks. And I like to keep a couple of cake mixes in my pantry, and I was out of my spice cake mix. And I wanted to make a spice cake this morning, and I didn't have any mix, so I thought I'd just bring you along while I mixed it up. So 1 cup of brown sugar in each jar, 1 1/4 cup of flour, all-purpose flour in each jar. How many years did you smoke? You sound like RFK Jr. I've smoked for many years, and then I also had some neck surgeries done. And that caused a little bit of it, but many years of smoking. Yes, very raspy. Okay, so now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to move this to the side. Oops. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Good morning. Okay, so now we're just going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I'm going to level it off. And because I'm trying to make this pretty, I'm just going to kind of see if I can't scatter this in here. Just to kind of give it a little bit of color for my next level. This is two teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to do that to each jar. And you can see it's kind of adding another layer of color. So I'm going to do that with each jar. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I was really inspired by a lot of people that were doing the cake mixes and things in the jar because of me camping. And I love to take things in mason jars because that way I don't have to worry about mice getting into it or anything getting into it. Again, you can see how pretty that is. It's rainy here in Ohio today. So I thought, well, if it's raining, it'd be a nice day to bake a cake. But then I come in to get out my spice cake mix, and I didn't have any made up. Okay, so now we've got 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And that's giving me a nice little layer there. And next, I need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same with that and add that in. Giving me my nice layer of white. This is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to do that in each jar. You can see how that's giving you a nice layer. And if you're going to add extra stuff, you want to pack this down. I think I'm going to have plenty of room today, so I'm not really going to pack each layer down that much. But this is your spice cake, so you can add to it what you want. Okay. You can see how pretty that layer is. Okay, now, this morning I am out of ground ginger. Normally I use a 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. And then I use pumpkin pie spice. And this is an organic pumpkin pie spice. And it has, for its ingredients, I probably got flour on my nose now. It has for its ingredients organic ground cinnamon, organic ground ginger, organic ground nutmeg, and organic ground allspice, and organic ground cloves. So this is going to give me a really nice flavor. So even though I don't have the ginger this morning, I'm going to go ahead and add my pumpkin pie spice, and it's 2 teaspoons. And then I'm just going to sprinkle that around to bring up my next layer. And I'll just add a little bit of extra pumpkin pie spice today since I don't have my ground ginger. So I'll just add 2.5 teaspoons of my pumpkin pie spice this morning since I'm out of the ginger. So there's 2. And I'll just add my half. So then that gives me another layer. I'll do that to my other jars. This makes a really nice spice cake. So I'm adding 2.5 teaspoons of the pumpkin pie spice today because I don't have any of my ground ginger. And there is ground ginger in the pumpkin pie spice. So 2.5. Normally it would be the half of the ground ginger. This gives me another pretty layer there. And then once I get all this mixed up, I'm going to make a pumpkin pie spice cake today. So I'm mixing up 3 jars. I'll have 2 for my pantry. And then the one that I'm making today. I like to try to keep at least 2 of each cake mix in my pantry. Because it's only my husband and I. Unless I had a holiday coming up and I wanted to give some away for gifts, then I would make up more. So there's 2.5. Okay, now the next step is what you prefer. Now, if I was going to store this, I would probably store this right like it is. Now, if I was going to give this as a gift or use it like I'm going to use this one today, I would go ahead and add walnuts and raisins. So, I have some raisins here that are open, and then I'll open some more, and I usually put about 1/2 cup of raisins and 1/2 cup of walnuts. Let me see how close I am here. Oh, perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add 1/2 cup of raisins. Now this was what I would do if I was going to be making this right away or giving this as a gift. But if I had it on the shelf, I wouldn't have my raisins or my walnuts added. So I'm going to break them up there a little bit. And then I would add my walnuts. And then if I was giving this as a gift, I'm just going to drop those couple in there. I want you to see how pretty that is in the jar. So you've got 1 1/4 cup of whole-purpose flour. You've got 1 cup of brown sugar. You have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in this layer, you have ground it would be ground ginger would be a half a teaspoon, and then 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. And I just used the pumpkin pie spice this morning, so that makes this small brown layer. Then raisins, and then walnuts. And this is so pretty to give as a gift. I think it's one of the prettiest, other than the brownie mix, one of the prettiest jar mixes. So I'm only going to add the raisins and the walnuts to this one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and store these other 2 for my shelf. And I'll have 2 for my pantry. One. So now next time I need a spice cake mix, this will be ready, all except for adding my walnuts and my raisins. So that's 2 that I'm going to store on my pantry. And then this one I'm going to go ahead and make today. I just wanted you to see how pretty that is with the raisins and the walnuts added. So, I'm going to go ahead and set these aside. Put away my flour and a few other things here. And then I'm going to go ahead and bake a cake. So I'm going to be using this one, since I do have the walnuts and raisins already in it. So now, I'm going to flip it over to making the cake. And most people that watch me know that a lot of times I don't have whole milk, so I mix up my own whole milk. I have the powdered whole milk. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to need a half a cup. So let me go ahead and get me and this is 4 tablespoons to 8 ounces of water. So I'm going to go ahead and put 4 tablespoons in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now if you already have whole milk, you don't have to go through that step. That's just, a lot of times I'm camping and I don't have whole milk. And to keep me from running to the store, I already keep the powdered whole milk. So now I need 8 ounces of water. Bring that one back over because I'm going to need it. And then I just whisk this up real good. Again, if you have whole milk, you can skip this step. So I'm stepping on Buddy's goodie there. And then I'm just going to put my lid on and shake that up real good. Okay, so I'm going to need a half a cup of whole milk. I'm going to need 2 eggs. I'm going to need a 1/2 cup of softened butter, so I'm going to go ahead and get the butter softened in the microwave. So, this is 1 stick equals a 1/2 cup, so I'm just going to cut this in half. We're going to go ahead and just soften this in the microwave. And then I'm going to need some vanilla. So that should be everything that I need. Okay. So I'm going to get my bowl over here. Okay, it says beat eggs until fluffy. So I'm going to go ahead and get my eggs in. And I'm going to go ahead and put those on the mixer. Let those start mixing. I haven't finished my butter there. Then I need a half a cup of whole milk. And I mixed up the whole milk, so I'm going to go ahead and get that. Okay. Add in vanilla, milk, and dry ingredients. and butter. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add in the milk. Butter. And I need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to add in my dry ingredients. And that will make 1 spice cake. So while that's getting ready, I'm going to go ahead and spray my cake pan. Reheat my oven. And we're going to have a spice cake. Again, that was pretty easy. I made 2 up for my pantry, and I have 1 that I'm baking today. It's 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch would be the next level. The next level would have been 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, which I was out of today, and 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. And since I have ginger in the pumpkin pie spice, I just added another 1/2 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. And then I added the raisins and walnuts to the one I'm making today. And now that will give me 2 spice cakes to put on my pantry, and I'm not going to add the walnuts and raisins for these 2. Give it just a couple more minutes. Hope everyone's having a good Friday morning. Are you ready for a good weekend? that makes such a pretty pumpkin spice batter. Or, sorry, spice cake batter. I'm thinking pumpkin pie. That sounds like a good idea too. I want you to see what a pretty batter that makes. Hoping you can see that okay. Makes an absolutely beautiful batter. So let me get that in my cake pan. I hope you can see that okay. And we will get that in the oven. And that's all there is to it. So let me go ahead and turn you around here and let me get some water in my bowls. Okay, well that was pretty quick and easy. Pretty simple. So, now I'll have my spice cake baking. My day started. I'm having barbecued ribs and baked potatoes for dinner. And some corn. So I thought for dessert I would like to have a nice spice cake. So I thought I'd bring you along since I didn't have a spice cake this morning mixed for my pantry ready. So I thought I'd just bring you along this morning while I made up one. And that is the one jar that I had mixed up today. And that's equal to one box of spice cake mix, store-bought. I'm going to have to put my extra milk away. And then that will give me 2 spice cake mixes for my pantry. The only thing I'll need to do if I want to go camping is I'll go ahead and add my raisins and walnuts in this. And then I'll take a couple with me camping, and I'll have 2 spice cake mixes to take camping with me. So, that's all I have this morning. I just thought I'd bring you along since I was out of cake mix, spice cake mix. And that is just a spice cake mix in a jar. It is 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, and then if you want to add nuts, you can add whatever nuts and raisins, and I put usually a half a cup of each in, your preference. And then when you're baking it, it's 1/2 cup of whole milk, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and a half a cup of butter softened. Beat eggs until fluffy, add in eggs, butter, vanilla, milk, and dry ingredients. Bake at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer for 25 minutes and I'll come check it. And we'll see what we have. So, I'm going to go ahead and put these in the pantry. I just thought I'd bring you along and let you see how nice those are. They make really pretty gifts. If you want to go ahead and add the raisins and nuts and then decorate your jars, those make a really nice gift. And I didn't add the raisins and walnuts to these because I want to have these in the pantry. And I'm baking one today, so that's all I have this morning. So, until next time, I will see you. Have an absolutely wonderful day. And don't be afraid to try new things in the kitchen. It's always fun. Until next time, bye-bye. Enjoy your weekend. Oh, and be kind. Be kind to one another. We need to see more of that. Bye-bye, everybody.